Alright folks, welcome back to Let's Play Zork Nemesis. Nemesis me. The mysterious JG Chico. It's time to take home these Conservatory videos. We found out that Lady Hamilton had a thing going on with General K. Forget what the K actually stands for. Music Lady and War Guy. General War Guy. Music Lady is, of course, the teacher of Alexandria Fox, and War Guy's son is Lucius War Guy, and Alexandria and Lucius had a little thing going, but it seems like both Lucius's father and Alexandria's teacher were trying to break them apart. And ultimately, all four of those characters, plus Dr. Guy and Alexandria's father, Priest Fire Guy, Firewolf Nick Napalm, were all killed by Nemesis, so let's keep going. Because they were killed by Nemesis, let's keep going. That made sense. And we appear to be backstage, and there's stuff that we cannot do anything with. And there's a theatrical backdrop, and it looks like there is a hole in the backdrop. So can we go through the hole? No, there is another backdrop behind it. Alright. And there is a foosball table. No, I'm sure that's not a foosball table. Just a wooden table with some knobs. I'm sure something else is going on. I should have remembered, this is one of the places where we're going to need to turn off pan relief. There's a pixel hunt here. It's not really a pixel hunt, it's just an item that you can't interact with because it's too far off the edge of the screen. So we'll come back. You don't actually need to look at this item, but it tells you how to solve the puzzle. So with the walkthrough, I could ignore that item, but you wouldn't see how you're supposed to solve this thing. So we go into this room. We've got this device. This thing seems to be broken. We have a picture of the background set paintings. Here we have like an undersea thing with a hole in the bottom right. And there we see what it was that we saw through that hole. There's a door, but there's statues. The door's over here somewhere. We have a door on the far left and a family home. We have a farmhouse. We've got some kind of scene with a fountain, but it has a door down here where we need one. A hole. There's a cave. This reminds me of the set for the Kabuki one act's worth of Kabuki that I saw in Japan, except that I can't remember the name of the Kabuki play. And I'm sure for 99% of those watching, the name wouldn't mean anything anyway. But it's about a guy who gets stuck on some island and with his buddies, and because he's a political exile, and then they let him. They come back. Some guy comes back and says they can go, but one of them met a girl while he was on the island, and he's in love with her. And the girl is, of course, played by a man because that's how Kabuki works. And the guy says, "Oh, 4 of you can go back." And the guy's like, "Okay, let's go back. Can we bring back my new wife?" And the guy's like, "No, haha, I'm evil." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay, well, why don't you guys go back and I'll stay here and let the girl take my place?" And the guy's like, "No!" And then they fight and he kills him, and then some other guy shows up and stuff happens. But it's pretty interesting and it's pretty dramatic, and it's Kabuki, so it involves a lot of guys going, "Ooh!" Yeah. So that was my Japanese cultural experience. And the set looked like this. Back to the game. And that actually has what we need. Okay, so the last one, the second to last one, and the first one have holes. Here's the deal: you can lift the set pieces. So let's try to lift them all. Turn this thing on. Let's lift them all. You can't interact with these at all. You just select the blue buttons for anything you want to lift. But you can only do 4 or it's overloaded. So let's say we lifted the first 4, This will be annoying, but I do want to show this to you real quick so you can get a feeling for the puzzle. We go over... Well, the first one's always stuck down, so they don't have to do a bunch of new artwork. But if you go to the hole in this first one... Oh, I went the wrong way at some point. Ah! Take this! What are we looking at there? Some rocks from the Kabuki set. Ooh. Yeah. Because what basically happened is we lifted them starting from the front. We lifted 4, and the very first one you can't lift at all. So we lifted this one, this one, this one, this one, and now we're seeing this. Okay, see how the puzzle works now? So which ones did we decide we needed to lift? All but the last 2. The last one and the second to last one I think we decided could stay in place because they had holes in the place where we need holes to be. So I think at this point I can save and put pan relief back on because we looked at those pictures of the matte paintings and figured out which ones had holes placed at positions that were useful to us. Because the point of this puzzle is we've got to get through their layers of matte paintings. I don't know if you call them matte paintings in theater. That's what you call that kind of thing in film. Maybe in theater it's something else. I mean, it's the backdrop. It's the theatrical backdrop. And we looked at the backdrops and we figured out which ones we can afford to have down and still be able to pass through because they have holes, tunnels, or doors painted at the correct place. And I did something wrong. And I just turned off pan relief. Oh, I did everything. I did it exactly backwards. Everything except those 2 needs to be lit up. So that's okay. No harm, no foul. Now it'll work. I was afraid I was going to have to go through those pictures again, and I just shut off pan relief, which would make that annoying. But now you can see we've got doors we can go on through, and here's what's really annoying about all this. We could see all this from over here before, from the other side of that stuff. We just weren't allowed to interact with it. Oh, so we get to go down some stairs. Now we're in the props department. This place is filled with cool stuff that we can't really interact with. I think this is just here to trick you into thinking there's all sorts of cool items you can pick up.
Your locket.
What about it?
Your locket.
Zork 1. I don't think that really helps me very much. Your locket, your locket, your locket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a mantis in my pantis. Okay. Lots of neat looking stuff that we can't do anything with. I told you this game's got a lot of atmosphere. So we're now kind of between a drum bucket thing and a big swan. Still looking for... Oh, here's something we can interact... Oh, we're in the swan. Hey, we're like the penguin riding around in some kind of crazy duckmobile. But I don't know what coming up here did for us. Although now... I don't really understand that whole sequence, but we just jumped through the ceiling of something. And I think we're fine without going back there, so... Hey, we're in the furnace room. And now we're back out of the boiler room. Please tell me we can open this door. Okay, good. We don't have to go through all that crap again. Yeah, we got into the boiler room by dropping through the ceiling of the room from a floor above, so that's kind of cool. Your locket! And we knocked the locket into the water. Good one, JG. Save the game, because I have a feeling we can die here, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to die intentionally just so we can see it. There's not that many deaths in this game, really. And for me, one of the weaknesses of the game is that they set up this cool idea of this, like, evil nemesis figure that's kind of this disembodied voice that follows you and taunts you, but they don't use it that much. I kind of wish they used Nemesis more. Burn, baby, burn. Just go and burn, oh, burn, baby, burn the mother down. So, it's kind of a neat little room. You can look around and get the locket, pick it up. All the day you'll have good luck. Is that like a... It's a swirly pattern. Is that like an eyeball? Is that like a woman's face? Am I just out of my mind? So this is where you actually have to go. I originally swam back up and didn't realize you had to leave through a door over here. They really do give you plenty of time, though. Oh, I think I've screwed up the, Oh, now I think I need pan relief to get out of here. I need to shut it off. I need to go... Am I going to drown or not? I could have sworn you'd have a limited amount of time to do what you needed to do there. Apparently you've got plenty of time. I mean, that's why we saved. I figured we were about to drown. Oh, well, it looks like we hadn't picked up the locket again, but we have picked up the locket. Game just got a little bit confused. Alright, well, how long do you say we wait here to figure out whether or not we can drown? The walkthrough said that you had a limited amount of time, and I assume that you did based on the fact that you're underwater, and the Zork games do tend to like to kill you. Yeah, this is on my work computer, going to sleep. But my work computer is the computer on which I have the walkthrough open, so I needed to not be asleep. I'm starting to think we're not actually going to die here. Glub, glub, glub! I'm drowning! Oh, this is awful. Alright, forget it. I guess you can't drown. If you can't drown, then I guess I'm just not patient enough to get killed in this game. I'm used to games, Zork games particularly, which are much faster to kill you than that. So, this is interesting. The lab. Ah, well, there's the symbol. Musical notes on crystals. Okay. There is some kind of fish crystal. And it spits out some kind of tablet. The directions that we read way back when told us to prepare the boiling solution, seed with crystal, purify the crystal, and then ring the notes together. Toughest part of this for me was figuring out how you prepare the boiling solution, because you come here and there's a boiler, but there's nothing happening. And I was just completely skipping that. But these are the crystals. That's the crystal. You purify it by adding this tablet, but we have to get it boiling first. How are we going to do that? Well, you open this up. It turns out that we go back into the boiler room because we were apparently behind a boiler. Although it seems like a silly use for a mystical locket. Can't really do much with these. Hey, we got boiling water. It came back up. Hey, we got boiling water. It came back up. This is where we need the locket. To me, that seems kind of weird, but whatever, it works. And it means that that thing stays in the down position and we don't have to wait for it. Wait on it. Wait with it. Whatever. So now we have a boiling solution. Let's add a crystal. Let's purify the crystal. And now I want to save my game because this is as far as I got off screen and I did something wrong because I screwed it up and didn't succeed. Now we know from solving the puzzle of arranging the musical instruments that the full-fledged song is C, D, E, B, G. Okay? We know this. Search your feelings, Luke. You know this to be true. There is no G in here, so I'm assuming that last crystal is G. Even without solving that puzzle, we knew C, D, E, B from one of the books. So, we have to figure out where the hell we are in this room. There is C and D are next to each other by where you get the crystal, if I'm reading this correctly. 3 of them in a row, and E is the one that's closest to the outside wall. Then B. I don't know what these little things represent, but this, I'm thinking, is the statue that gives us the thing, the tablet. So we have to get C, then D, which is convenient because they're next to each other. Then E, which is over there, and then B. Let's just see if I do this right, because this, I think, is I just picked the wrong crystals to mess with. I ain't the crystal to mess with. Woo! So you come over here to where these are. The one closest to the wall we want last. Then we come over here where there's 3 in a row, and we get the one closest to the wall. Then we go to this one, and not that one. I think that's what I did wrong before. Now, if we touch this one... So that's the music of the spheres, right? Is it? Yeah! That didn't happen last time. It did the musical sound and the song, and then the thing didn't explode, so I think I'd done something wrong. And we have an Ankh, which is the symbol of the ladies. And water, because water is associated with the ladies, and fire tends to be associated with the fellas. Okay, did I just win this thing? Ooh, a little cinema. There's flames. This is the water place. Why are we seeing flames? What is the Zork Nemesis sun logo? Blood. Blood. Ocean. Blood. Ocean. I know who you are! It's Lady Hamilton. And she's been strangled. That doesn't seem very nice. I don't know about Lady Hamilton. Well, I mean, you know, she was sleeping with some married guy. That's generally considered shady, but I mean, who am I to judge? I don't know. I don't generally approve of that sort of thing, but again, who am I to judge? She was trying to keep the two young lovebirds apart. That seems pretty unfavorable. I mean, in the real world, we can look at it and say, oh, she had a great gift. She wanted to leave the conservatory to go run around with some dude, probably get pregnant by the time she's 17, end up as a waitress or, you know, working at Wendy's or something. So yeah, maybe the adults had her best interests in heart in keeping them apart. But in fiction, in stories, if two young lovers want to get together and people try to stop them, they are almost always the bad guys. So I'm not sure about this Lady Hamilton person. Then again, she got strangled. That's not usually nice to strangle people. But she was cute in that lingerie.
Well, I thank you. Try to understand.
I'm a magic
with
man.
Luciane and Alexandria, I had to intervene. It was my duty, and I had obligations. I didn't mean wrong, but I accept the guilt. We knew we would be persecuted, but I thought Luciane and Alexandria would be safe. As it turned out, the Nemesis was not discriminating in his taste for murder. Please help us. We need to complete the ceremony to create the quintessence. Get the other alchemical metals. Hurry.
Hurry. Anything to say for yourself, lady? No? That's all I'm getting out of her. Alrighty. So that's it. We have to do that 3 more times for the other 3 alchemists, and then they get the quintessence, and we win the game. So... But I don't get to see her murdered again. Alright. Well, I guess I'll do Iron Dune, whatever it is, next, because, you know, we already know a little something about that fella. And we'll explore the other characters as we go. But yeah, we found out that Lady What's-Her-Name was sexing up the General Iron Dune dude. And Iron Dude was the father of Lucius, so we'll pull that thread and see what we can get in the story. And then I guess we'll follow up with... unless something piques my interest, we'll follow up with the priest guy who's the father of Alexandria, and then the last one will be the doctor, who doesn't really seem to be related to the rest of the story, but we'll see. We might find out. There was a letter from him to Lady Hamilton talking about alchemy, so that would seem to be their connection. And well, yeah, so we'll get into that later. In the meantime, what I think I'm going to do is... I can go ahead and see if this is the off-screen one, I guess, because the off-screen one I screwed up. I am going to check on something before we end the video. What if I come back to here? At this point, I have access to the room. We've got the crystal. All we need to do is activate the correct thingies, the correct crystals to make the music. So we're as close as we really can be to winning this thing without winning it. What if I were to leave now and go back to that temple? Could I come back and solve this in just a few moves? Because I think at the beginning you have those 4 little mini quests, and when you solve them all, the Nemesis shows up and they have their little speech. But you get a little speech from each alchemist after you beat their quest. So whoever you beat 4th, you don't get to see their speech. Well, that kind of bugged me, because this is an LP. I feel like trying to be a bit of a completionist and showing you guys everything. So what I think I'll do, if I can, is I'll just leave this one almost beaten, and what we'll actually do is we'll beat the other 3, see their little mini things, and then we'll beat this one last to trigger either the ending or the end game puzzles. I'm not sure. Well, I actually do know the answer to that. But the thing is, I don't want to give away whether you win the game with all 4 or if there's any more to come. But I do want to... Let's go back there now and see. Do I have to resolve any puzzles, or will the door to the boiler room? That's the big thing. All that stuff you're doing was to get into that boiler room with arranging musical instruments and stuff. Let's see if I can just go straight back to the boiler room without solving anything else in there. And once I get there, will that crystal be in place, waiting for me to just trigger the appropriate sound crystals to activate it. In other words, when I go back to the main section of the story, is it going to retain what I've already done here? And it looks good so far because that is the... yeah, that is the poster that was fixed. This is the... well, not fixed, it was replaced. This is the boiler room. We go in without having to solve any other puzzles. The last little piece of detail, yeah, this is in here. So it saves my progress. Which means that I can end the video here, and when we come back, we will start a new section of the game, and we'll be able to beat those three at, you know, our whatever pace we can manage, and then come back and just do a quick win on this one to actually trigger the end of the game, and see all of the dialogue and not miss anything. So that'll be awesome. Awesome for you. Don't I take good care of my fans? Alright. So, this video's short. I might as well just walk out of here and get us back to the room where we're going to go to, I believe... It's not actually Mertz. We're not actually traveling to the planet Mertz. I said in an earlier video we're traveling to other planets. I was wrong, but the planets in that little celestial body thing just represent different locations that you're going to travel to on this planet, whatever it's actually called. Where we actually want to go next is... apparently that is not it. Maybe that is it. Let's see where this is. Ah! Dropped my wireless mouse. It's going all over the place. Can't even commentate because I'm not looking at the screen. Panic. Ah, but this is the correct place anyway. This is a military fortress hidden amongst the dunes. It's a lot more built up than the military base I live in that's hidden amongst dunes. But yeah, this is probably the most Leatherneck bastion of the locations in this game. So this game being quite possibly the last thing I record in Afghanistan, it seems only fair that we come into a desert military palace thingy. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'm going to save this on off-screen slot because I can't remember which LP slot is the correct one to save on, and I don't want to screw it up in case that this video is eaten. But assuming this video is not eaten, well, if it is eaten, I just have to re-record the end of the last one. Or I have to re-record the end of the Conservatory. If it's not eaten, when we come back, we will venture into the palace, temple, no, castle, fortress. Here, just like the Conservatory, we're going to find this place is empty, but we'll hear ghostly sounds of the past. In this case, creepy battle sounds. So the Conservatory, it's kind of vaguely pleasant, although it's a little bit creepy with the ghostly atmosphere. We're also going to a fortress. We're going to, if you were paying attention, if you listened all the way through patiently to that fourth video where I just read from the manual, you know we're going now into a fortress. Then we're going to be going to some kind of monastery, church, cathedral place, which I'm sure an empty cathedral full of like ghostly sounds will be super creepy. But the one I'm planning to do last is the one that is going to out-creep them all, I believe. If memory serves from playing this game years ago. The doctor worked at a sanitarium. That's going to be freaking creepy. You'll get to experience the creep next time, folks. Well, that creep will be later, but the creep of the palace will be next time. As Mysterious GG, I want to thank you guys for watching, and remember, Anks are the symbols of ladies and water. Also, red rum. Good night. Or good day. Whatever.